Oh, this is exciting. 24 minutes before 3, Frank the guitar player is getting set up at this time, even as we speak. Tuning up, setting up, plugging in, all of that. And you'll be doing a sound check with him during the break, right, Rob? Yeah. So after the next break, approximately, we will be hearing from Frank the guitar player, who was one of our participants on Leveille3 4. Last month. In fact, here's the deal. Here's what's going on here, right? So we have Leveille3 4 last month, and people call in and they play. And somewhere, probably around now, somewhere in the middle of the show, Frank calls in, and he's going to play the electric guitar, and he's going to play the Star Spangled Banner. And so, okay, great, right? So I remember chatting with him. I remember saying to him, should I stand for this? By the way, I will be standing for this tonight. And he goes, well, yeah. So anyway, he starts playing, and he's good, right? So, and then I start thinking, wait a minute, is this guy for real, or is he playing a Hendrix CD over the phone? Because it was good. So, I mean, it wasn't like the version I always think of when I hear the Hendrix, but I thought, well, Hendrix might have recorded this more than once, and there must be some bootlegs, and, So that's what I'm thinking. I don't know if this guy's goofing on us or not, right? So now you only played for, remember we told you to play for 40 seconds and we'd start fading at about 30 seconds because of rights problems and stuff. So we started fading him a few seconds early because I wasn't sure, right? So we started fading him out, and I made some joke. I don't know exactly what I said. I wasn't blatant about saying I didn't believe it because I wasn't sure. But I made some reference to it, and we fade him out, and we went to the next thing. And then, a little while later, within the next 45 minutes or so, somebody said something, so a caller said something, and I made some kind of a joke, something along the lines of, yeah, like the guy with the Hendrix CD, or something like that. I don't remember the exact. We didn't go back and listen to it. We were going to. Anyway, that's what happened on Leveille3 4. And then I get this email. So last week I'm doing my annual check of my email, and the new year and everything. And so I have a note from Frank. Frank was trying to get a copy of his performance on Leveille3 4. Now, of course, the station doesn't make copies available, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, he had gotten in touch with another listener, and he was letting me know this by email. Who had recorded Leveille3 4, and he was able to work out a deal with that listener and get a copy of that. So he had acquired a copy of himself playing and had the opportunity to listen to it, and obviously also the opportunity to hear what I said when he played. So he wrote me a note about this. Now, he didn't refer in the note, in the email. Frank did not refer to what I said. He just said, I got a copy. Thanks very much. I got a copy from so-and-so, and I'm all set. A copy of my performance, and I thought, if this guy went to the trouble of getting a copy, then he wasn't goofing us. He was really playing. So I wrote back to him, and I said, man, I wasn't sure if that was a goof or not. Man, you are good, because that was really good. So I thanked him, and that was pretty much that. Then later that same day, last week, when I'm doing my email, it hits me. Hey, it's the national anthem. There's no rights problem. We could play the whole thing. It's in the public domain. We could have Frank play the whole thing, right? Because he was good. And I thought, yeah. And so I wrote back to him, and I said, hey, what would you think about this? What would you think about coming back on the show and playing the whole national anthem for us? And if you could, and this was the end of last week, I said, so we'll do this next week if you can do it. And I said, if you could, I don't know which nights you're available, if you could do it Thursday night, Friday morning, it's going to be Rob's last day on the show. We could make it part of that, and we're trying to do a few different things that day, and you could be part of it. So he wrote back, "I'd love to. Thanks for the invite," and here we are. Here we are. So this is what he's setting up now. Rob's talked to him a couple of minutes ago, and Rob's going to call him again during this next break, and then after the break, maybe not right after the break, as soon as he's ready, but sometime in the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to hear the national anthem by Frank, the guitar player, and this is going to be cool. This is going to be great. Now, I say the whole thing. I'm going to have to ask Frank, how long is this going to take? Because it can't be the 6-minute version. You know, Hendrix kind of like winds up to it, right? Okay. Yeah, we can't do that, right? We can't do the long solo version, but you know, if we can do it within a minute or so, like they normally would play the national anthem with whatever frankness he wants to give to it. You know what I'm saying? Put on his own signature on it. Yes. But yeah, we'll let him play the whole thing if we can do it in that approximate amount of time, and and I will be standing, and I hope those of you who have the ability to stand at that time will do the same thing. If you're in your car, I would not suggest it, but that's just me. So that's coming up in the next segment. Frank the Guitar Player and our national anthem coming up here on the Steve Leveille broadcast. Rob Brooks, producer. We don't get to say that too many more times, so I'm going to try to get that in there.